Today I want to talk to you about situations and the link that situations have to stuttering. In this video, I'm going to help you understand what the connection is and give you some practical ways that you can change that link. I'm Barbara Dahm, the Unconventional Clinician. My purpose is to help people who stutter find a way to communicate more easily and really enjoy talking. So, stay tuned to this video because you're going to learn a lot about how situations affect your stuttering, and I'm going to give you an exercise that you can do at the end to help yourself change the connection that exists today. Let's start by looking at why situations actually do affect the degree of stuttering. If you're like most people who stutter, when you're alone, you might stutter a little bit, but you do stutter less than when you're talking to someone else. And when you're in a situation that you feel is important for you to have good speech and to communicate well, that's the situation that usually causes the most stuttering. Why is this true? Well, it is because when the stakes are high, you go into what I could call control mode. And control mode is when you try too hard to talk. Think of it. When you're alone, talking to children, are you thinking about the words that you're going to say? Are you trying to pre-plan? Are you trying to figure out how am I going to get that word out? Or is speaking just something that happens, a no conscious do-nothing activity? This is what it's meant to be. But when you're in certain situations, the situations trigger your brain to go into control mode. So it's not really the outside situation that makes you stutter. It's that the outside situation makes you do something that puts too much control on the system, and then you in turn have stuttering. It's very important to realize that it's what you do when you have these situations that makes you stutter, and not the situation itself. These situations become triggers for you to go into this mode. Now, it becomes a memory. Memories are things that have happened in the past, and usually they become stronger when there's some emotional background to them. If you have had great emotion in some circumstances, you remember that really well. That's what traumas are about. But it's not just traumas. It's also good things that happen to us. Sometimes by using our senses, we build memories that stick with us for a very, very long time, if not a lifetime. So perhaps you had great emotions when you were listening to a song and you were with a certain person. Every time you hear that song, you feel what you felt when you were with that person, or at least you remember that person, and those feelings come into play a bit. It happens with good things, good emotions. Unfortunately, the bad emotions seem to really build these memories even stronger. And if you have had a circumstance in the past where you stuttered and maybe had some very negative feelings in your body, at that time, you remember it. and your body remembers the way you were reacting. So this memory becomes part of you, and you, your brain, your body, become the memory. When this happens, your reflexive reactions go into place so quickly, much quicker than anything you would like to do consciously. And this is where the problem exists, because you react so quickly. And in order to change this memory, we have to change the connection. We have to give an opportunity to a new behavior to occur, instead of letting that old behavior go into place so quickly. So how are we going to do this? How are we going to change this memory that is so much a part of you? Well, there are 3 A's. Let me tell you about them. The 3 A's are, first, acceptance, then awareness, and then action. This is how you can change your link. Let me explain what I mean by them. Acceptance. First, accept what I have told you. Accept that it is not the situation itself that is making you stutter. People on the outside aren't causing the stutter. It's coming from in you. Accept that there are things that subconsciously you're doing. That's okay. Accept that it is okay. Accept that these parts of you, the things that you do inside, relate to your perceptions, the way you see things, your thoughts, where you put your attention, and all the other behaviors that are going on inside you. Little things that you might not be aware of. So you have to accept that they exist, and then accept that you're not made of stone. You program these memories. You program these links. And in the same way that you program them, you can reprogram them. And that's powerful. So, acceptance is the first thing, because until you accept that there is a way to change the link, you're not going to be doing it. Then awareness. Okay, so what are my perceptions of speaking? What are my perceptions of myself? What are the little behaviors that I might be doing subconsciously that I don't even realize are problematic? What are those thoughts that run into my head just as soon as this situation comes into my view? When I see an authority figure, what do I think? Do I think, uh-oh, this is going to be hard? What is it? And how do I go into controlling my speech? Do I do things that are different than when I am alone? These are the things that you need to be aware of. And one other thing, you have to be aware that you are making progress. Be aware of the little changes that you make in how you are functioning. Just little things. So, action. Being aware is part of your action. But further than that, once you realize what some of your thoughts are and what some of these behaviors are, then Start making changes. You cannot force yourself not to think something. We cannot control the little thoughts that pop into our head, but we cannot pay attention to them. And by not paying attention to them, the best way not to do that is to have a substitute thought. So you can think something different. You can think that you have the power. You can think something that will trigger you to behave in a different way. And you can look at the behaviors. So you can choose one little behavior, one thing that you do that you would like to do differently, and work on doing that one little thing. And then don't look at the fluency. Don't say, okay, am I being fluent now? Because that's an end result. And if your action is to always be checking the degree of fluency that you are gaining, you will become depressed, you will become frustrated, because to get to changing the end result takes a while. You need to keep up your motivation to make changes. So in your action, look for little changes. Like today, I thought and pre-planned what I was saying a bit less than yesterday. Hey, good for me. That's action. And so that leaves me to your activity that I want to give you to do, the action. And this is something that you can do today, but you need to do it tomorrow. And you need to do it again and again. Start becoming aware. Take a paper and pencil and start writing down what are some of these situations that really bother you. Become aware of what they are. Is it authority figures? Is it the time of year? Is it a time of day? Is it a place? Maybe a learning situation? Is it groups? Is it family? What are these situations that trigger me? Become very aware and look at them, and then just go over them long enough to pick out one that you really feel you want to work on. Only one. And then think of this situation. Imagine yourself in this situation and write down the feelings, the thoughts that come up as soon as this situation arises. Is it an uh-oh feeling? Is it, oh, what are they going to think of me? What is it? What are all the little thoughts? Write down as many as you can. And then look for a theme. Is there a theme to this? Maybe there is. If not, just pick one of them. And think of a thought that will change your whole perspective. If your thought was, uh-oh, maybe your thought would be, I can do it differently. Maybe your thought was, give up the control. Think of something that you can put into effect immediately when these old thoughts pop up. You pick your new thought. And then go into this situation and think, what can I do differently? One little thing. Maybe it's not substituting words. Maybe it's trying to not look at all for what the words are. Maybe it's, okay, I see the words, but I'm not going to try to push them out. All of these things are control issues, and they are what actually make you stutter. They give you the stuttering block. So, decide maybe on one little thing that you can do. Okay, so you're going to, in this activity, you're going to pick a situation, you're going to pick a thought that you want to put into this situation instead of the old thoughts, and maybe one little behavior. And then you are going to recognize every little change that comes from inside of you, whether it just be, I'm now aware of when I have the negative thoughts. Good for me. I now change it with a different thought. Good for me. And keep this up. Now, once you've done this, imagine yourself doing this in this situation. And every day, every night, evening, usually, before you go to bed, have a little video going through your mind of yourself in that situation, thinking, behaving in the new way, and feel the joy. Get it visceral. Feel it inside yourself, that this is you. So you will be building a new memory. This is really powerful. So, I hope you liked this. If you did, please write down in the comments how this activity was for you. And you can also share. If you like these videos that I do to help you to see stuttering in a different way, make sure to subscribe. And I'll see you in more videos.